Hey everybody, Jody Marketplace Boutique, and today I have massive necklace sales that sell really good. If you're gonna sell, to make sure that you know these name brands. These are items that have sold over $1,000. What? They are out there. I've found them myself. Sometimes you can find these items. You can find them in your charity shops, at Goodwill, on eBay, different sites, and I'll show you. And first, for $62,500 is this Van Cleef and Arpels 18 karat gold diamond 20 motif vintage necklace. Now, Van Cleef and Arpels is definitely one of my favorite brands that I kind of look through from afar and admire it. A lot of the celebrities wore it, and so it's a very popular, well-known brand. I do see a lot of things on eBay that are not selling for that much, so you might want to make sure that it is for real. I think there are a lot of fakes out there, so if you do get something like this, I'd probably have it appraised just to make sure. And you could resell these. You know, you find things like this out in the wild. So I'm going to show you a couple name brands so you will know kind of what to look out for, those name brand pieces that sell really well. And here's another version of Van Cleef and Arpels. And this is a malachite necklace. I do find these here and there, or at least the knockoff versions. This one sold for $12,000. You know, a great way to remember those pieces of Arpels that sell really well are these great clover kind of design. They're very elegant and well made, very pretty. Most of the time they're gonna be like a sterling silver or gold or some kind of plated. So keep your eye out for those really nice looking quality made items. So next we're going to move over to Bulgari, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, and this is a vintage yellow gold necklace, 18 karat. I have a very horrible story to tell you about this one. I had what I now known as a diamond and sapphire watch. I am not kidding you. I got it at a thrift store. I bought a box of jewelry. It was in there. I paid $5 for the box of jewelry, and I let my kids play with it. And when I started with eBay, I started with clothing because I guess that's what we had and we were turning it over quickly. So I sold those clothing items and I wasn't selling jewelry, and my kids loved to play with them. So I gave the diamond and sapphire Bulgari watch with diamonds in it to my kids to play with. And of course they broke it, they trashed it, and I threw it in the trash. Oh my word. A couple years later. So then I realized when I looked at my husband's Wall Street Journal magazine that that is actually a name brand, and what I had was gold and diamonds. And the kids played with it, and I let the kids play with it with their Barbies. Gosh. Oh my word. Lesson learned. Always look. These things I didn't know back then. 20 years ago, I was raising my kids and I never even thought about it. And this one sold for $11,500. And it's very plain. I do see a lot of these things like at flea markets. I don't usually check for the name brands on them, but if you familiarize yourself with the way things look, and if they look quality made, they're not real tiny, you might take a second look at that. Beautiful piece. Okay, so I pulled this up because I think this is so strange looking, and if I seen this, I wouldn't even take a look at it. And here's a vintage Space Age Collection Pierre Cardin Haute Couture choker necklace, 1960s. I'm serious. I would look at this and just say, what is that? Like a piece of railroad track on a choker chain? I would probably think this is an adult attire and not actually a necklace, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? This one sold for $12,600. $500. Something else to familiarize yourself with is David Yurman. He is a really well-known jewelry maker, and this one sold for over $8,800. And this is a 4 multi-chain necklace, 18 karat gold, 16-inch heavy, and this is vintage. This looks like a lot of vintage items you see out there. But you look at the chain now, and you can see that the chain is made pretty well. The clasp is made definitely heavy duty. Keep your eye out and familiarize yourself with these David Yurman items. A lot of times he makes really bulky things. You know, I guess his design kind of reminds me of the 80s. And here is another David Yurman 18 karat buckle choker vintage. Now he is very well known for these buckle designs, and a lot of high-end designers use this buckle feature on their jewelry. This one sold for $5,200. Ash Grossbart 14 karat gold diamond multi-stone inlay pendant necklace. As you can see on here, it definitely looks and screams like the 80s, right? But it looks like it's quality made, like an Omega. And it's got a really nice clasp on it, so that is one to keep your eye out for. This one sold for $5,000. And for $4,500, here is a vintage Seaman Chef's Pearl 3-strand necklace with a blue topaz white gold clasp. Beautiful. I come through necklaces like this quite a bit, and it's amazing what they can be worth sometime. The details on it are very beautiful. The clasp has a name brand stamped on the back. You definitely want to take a look at those clasps on the back. And also for $4,500 is this Margot de Texaco Mexico vintage sterling green enamel fish bracelet necklace set. This is really interesting. I love the Mexico designs, the vintage items. Things that are not always found in the US, I think, are always so interesting. And with age, can sometimes tarnish, and you might not even realize that it is something. It might just look shabby chic to you. Definitely turn it around. Look for those marks. This is an amazing, amazing sale. Now here is a necklace that sold, and I'm thinking I sold mine way too cheap because I recently sold a necklace kind of similar to this, and here's a very rare vintage Nihu shell lay Hawaiian necklace. Absolutely beautiful. And this sold for $4,500. Make sure you familiarize yourself with these kind of shells. Now this one is more unique than the normal ones that you would find just every day on a vacation to the island. But look at all these strands of stranded shells, different colors, all put together. It's absolutely gorgeous. And for $5,000 is this vintage 40 sterling silver Frank Dishta turquoise squash blossom earring set. Absolutely beautiful sterling silver, and sterling silver is usually marked somewhere on the item. Sometimes it's very small, so you have to look. But look at how beautiful this item is, amazing, and it still has the matching earrings, which makes it even more awesome. I see these a lot at antique stores. You can definitely find them. Now, when I find them, they're usually a couple $100, but when you can make a couple $1,000, yes, please. Or if you just want to collect this for yourself. One of the periods in time I want to talk about is Art Nouveau. About 1890s, when World War I hit, so, 1910 and 1914 is the era of Art Nouveau. And it flourished in modern design of curving lines, architecture, long organic sweeping curves, motifs of nature and sculptures. It's got a lot of earth and jewel tones, lavish decorations, stained glass, and curving shapes. So what I have here is my personal collection of goodies that I have that I keep. Now, some of them are old and some of them are remakes on time with those beautiful curving nature designs. Look at that beautiful locket with the nature. This is really, really old. Absolutely beautiful. So this is definitely an Art Nouveau. I would say this is probably the 1890s. Here I have a necklace. Very Art Nouveau. This is old. It's a locket with a beautiful diamond center. And the other side has a beautiful nature-inspired design. Nice gold necklace. Very, very beautiful. And I just wanted to show you so you kind of familiarize yourself with the styles. Now this one could have been going into the Art Deco. But look at this inspired. It's got a lot of curving lines, filigree work. This is definitely an older piece. It's absolutely beautiful. I love wearing this one. Don't be afraid to wear your pieces. If they break, you can always fix them. Here is my grandfather's ring. This is definitely early 1900s. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's kind of crooked. I think he got his hand squished. And this came to me. I'm so lucky to have it. I am so thankful to have a little something from my grandparents. I mean, I cannot say how much I even just enjoy the Art Nouveau period. I absolutely love it. This is what that is. And I just wanted to show you some pieces so you can kind of go out in the wild and find these things too. This is a very old locket. Look at this. My grandmother had one, a very similar. I did not inherit it, so I bought one off eBay. And look at how beautiful that is. Definitely Art Nouveau, around 1900. It's got all these lavish strands design. Still has a little bit of that Victorian era coming out of it. Definitely early 1900s. Look at how pretty that is. And actually, that is one like my great-grandma had, so it's very old. Here is a pen that I have. Very Art Nouveau. It's got a nature motif design. This is super old. This probably isn't worth much. It kind of feels like tin. Some things are worth more than others. These things are all not marked, but I just wanted to show you the things that might not be marked too. And this is a beautiful design. Now, a couple things could be inspired too. Here's a really good quality. This is Art Nouveau inspired. This is a more modern piece, worth a couple $100. Very, very beautiful, of the Art Nouveau era. Absolutely beautiful. Here's another locket. Look at this locket. Definitely Art Nouveau style. Oh, I can see myself in it. How hideous is that? Look at the flower motif in that. So pretty. Here is another remake on the design. This is 1928 brand, and I love their brand. They are antique inspired, definitely inspired after like the Victorian Art Nouveau era. So this is a remake, but I just wanted to show you this is a great style to collect. Here's a very old brooch, Art Nouveau. It's got a flower design. Some of the pieces, like the center, I think have been replaced. The back has been replaced, but this is a very old brooch. So that would be an Art Nouveau. Here is another old brooch. Look at how pretty this is. And this is an Art Nouveau style brooch. This is old. And it's just got those swirling curves. I love the design. I love it. I love it so much. This is a very old brooch. Now this is probably leaning towards the Victorian and the early part of Art Nouveau with all that filigree work, the flowers, the curving designs, and the curving bows. Isn't that beautiful? Here's an old ring that would be Art Nouveau inspired, curving, swirling lines. Isn't that pretty? Okay, well, let's dive into some of those Art Nouveau pieces that you can find out there in the wild that bring a lot of money. For $600, which I think this is actually a really good price, because I've sold earrings for around that price. And here's a vintage Christian Dior Art Nouveau necklace earring set by Henkel and Gross. And that is another great name brand. And this one also has the earrings. You can tell it's got a lot of intricate pieces that go along with it. And for $47.50, here is this antique Victorian long chain necklace, Sautour 18 karat gold, circa 1890 versatile. Now you can find a lot of these probably still around. Look at the design of the multi-strand and just the way the intricate details kind of flow together in this pattern. Very, very neat. And here is this antique 14 karat gold pearl enamel necklace, watch chain, estate jewelry. Look at this. This is really pretty. I love the designs of this. Just the details are really gorgeous. Very nice. And this one sold for over $1,900. For $17.55, here is a beautiful Sloan and Company Art Nouveau 14 yellow gold link necklace. Look at how elegant this is. Very, very pretty. A lot of people, I think, these days will just pass this by. But look at how pretty this is. And this sold for $1,675. Victorian Art Nouveau pink check glass and rhinestone pendant necklace. 22 inches. Look at all this detail in this. Now, I've noticed that check glass does sell very, very well for quite a bit of money. Even the non-older pieces sell pretty well. If you can find things that still have the box that say check glass, even better. Because some of these things might be kind of hard to trace back how old or where they came from. Absolutely beautiful. You can see the designs are very, very detailed. Austrian pearl beads, antique gold platinum clasps. So it has a very nice clasp to it. You can see it's an older style by the graduated amount that goes up to the clasp is usually smaller and better made. Also, you can tell by the knots in between the pieces. So if one piece comes loose, it's not gonna all go, and it's definitely better made this way. Anytime that you get a pearl necklace, you definitely want it to be knotted in between. It just shows that the quality in the piece is really nice. And that one sold for $1,000. Okay, so now we're gonna go to Art Deco. And the Art Deco style is like the decorative arts, and it was inspired by France. They had a world fair in France where all of the decorative arts came out. It came out of France in the 1910s and lasted until 1930s, pretty much until the Depression, where things became very simple. So the design is very structural. It's designed after ships, after buildings, skyscrapers. Just think of lines that are very, very simple. So something like this, where you have a lot of lines that are simple. See how this necklace just has, it's very linear, right? Where things kind of line up. And here, I'm surprised I found this. This is an Art Deco prototype ring, and this is a molding of the ring that they were going to create. Isn't that neat? I've actually never ran into one of these until recently, the Art Deco period of time. Here we have an old ring, very much Art Deco, probably 1920s. Look at that, maybe going into the 30s. Art Deco, very simple. So I would say this is probably the later part of Art Deco. Very simple. It could have been somebody that just didn't have a lot of money, but this is real simple. Great linear lines. Now this came in because this is from my grandpa, and he replaced this ring. So later on, this came in to fruition, and this is definitely an Art Deco design that he picked out. Absolutely beautiful. My grandma had a very similar matching ring that kind of matched this, and I didn't inherit that one, but that is very special to me. It's real special. And here is another Art Deco ring. Now I collect this kind of style only because I had one that came from my family and it was stolen. So when I see these kind of rings, I tend to pick them up. Mine was gold and this one is silver, but look at that. Very 1920s. And here is an Art Deco inspired necklace. This is more modern, but as you can see, the lines wonderfully line up. Look at how beautiful that is. Very much straight edges. Everything lines up. I'm like really into lining things up. I like things to be very symmetrical. I think that's a good way to describe Art Deco, is very symmetrical, right? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my little show and tell. And let's dive into those Art Deco pieces that you can find for tons of money. Yay! Okay, we cannot talk about expensive jewelry without bringing up Tiffany. I'm sure all of you already know Tiffany is definitely one of those things that can sell for a lot of money. And here's an Art Deco Tiffany necklace, 18 karat gold with Colombian emeralds. Wow, this is amazing. And this sold for $6,900. For $4,250, here is this vintage Art Deco cherry red, amber, bakelite, and gold beaded necklace. I would probably pass this right by without even realize what I was doing. Definitely take a look at the color of that bakelite. And a bakelite definitely has some beautiful red hues. This is a really neat necklace. $37.11 this one sold. And if you see amber, it does usually go for quite a bit of money. This one sold for $33.51, and this is a antique vintage Deco style. 22 karat yellow gold Mughal India filigree necklace. Look at how beautiful this is. Look at all the details in that, and that sold for quite a bit of money. And here's a vintage Erta 14 karat gold and lapis sapphire adventuring Art Deco flapper girl necklace. Look at that. Definitely interesting. Sold for over $3,000. That is amazing. Now this is definitely interesting, and for $3,000 is this Antonio Pineda silver jade necklace bracelet earrings, and it's called trapezoidal. I wouldn't even know that word to begin with. Look at the clasp on that, and you can tell it's just really well made. If you can find bracelets with that extra security clasp, definitely stop and take a look. And for $2,100 is this vintage Juliana Art Deco neon blue ravioli necklace brooch, bracelet earrings. Wow, this is an amazing piece. It's a great set, and it sold for quite a bit of money. Look at the Art Deco design. There's so many pieces to this set. And it looks like all of the little pieces are still there. That is really amazing. Somebody obviously kept really good care of this. And this sold for $2,100. Definitely stop. Slow your pace down when you're at the flea markets and at these antique stores. Take a look. Do they have any markings on them? Do they look quality made? What kind of style are they, and how old are they? I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you enjoyed my little jewelry box. Have a great Valentine's Day, everybody. That's coming up, you know. Make sure you don't forget. Look at that. Goodbye.